Well, welcome to another episode of this year's Rev Ron's Yule log. The time is going past quickly, isn't it? And before we start with our usual interview, we have a piece of music to share with you, which actually was performed at the church by some of our children at the first Advent service. It is Ring the Bells by Big Daddy Weave, featuring Meredith Andrews. Fading into the background was our opening number on Rev Ron's Yule log, Ring the Bells by Big Daddy Weave, featuring Meredith Andrews. And we are about to begin with our third guest of this season, season 2 of Rev Ron's Yule log. And so, without any further ado, would you like to introduce yourself to all the listeners?
My name is Alysha Garvie, and I am from Lambton County, originally from Oil City. Now I live in Petrolia. That's who I am in a nutshell.
And tell us a little bit about what you do, what kind of happens, what's your family, all that sort of stuff.
So I live in Petrolia with my husband and 2 sons, and I work in Petrolia as a hairdresser at Total Hair and Body Care. I've been there for about 15 years now, so that's what I've done for work. Before that, it was just working in retail kind of thing. So I've grown in the community, I guess, from being an apprentice and continuing in hair. Outside of that, like, I don't have deep roots here. A lot of people are hard oilers. That's kind of how they describe themselves. I am born in the area, but my parents are from the Windsor area. So I have family here, but not like deep rooted family. So
Okay.
I have a lot of friends and connections that I've made from living and working here, but outside of that, I don't have deep roots, I guess.
And Tim, your husband, isn't Canadian.
He
is
is
that right?
Canadian.
Oh, he is Canadian.
He just has his family live in the United States, but he is Canadian. Yes.
Okay.
It's confusing though.
They live across that terrible border.
Yeah, they live down there. It's warmer down there.
It's warmer down there. You are correct.
Yeah.
You are correct about that. And your 2 sons, are they at school? Are they doing anything exciting with their life?
Yeah, I have 2 boys. One, Maverick, he's almost 9, and Asher is almost 4. They're both in school now, so grade 3 and JK. They go to the French immersion school, which is a whole unique experience since I don't speak French.
Oh, you don't?
No, I don't speak French
Oh
at
my
all.
goodness. Does anyone else in the family speak French?
My mom speaks French, so she can talk to them. Probably talk to them about me, but I wouldn't know. No, she can talk to them and help them out. But I was around French growing up. My grandmother is a French teacher. My mom spoke French her whole life, but I never learned French. So it's interesting to see them learning that skill and developing it and like being able to function both in English and in French.
Okay, so you weren't even a native French speaker. What was the driver, the decision to send them into French immersion?
The French immersion school is really close to where we live, but beyond that,
So it was pure laziness.
yeah, easier. No. Beyond that, my oldest, he's been pretty bright from a young age, so we knew that like challenging him would be a positive thing. He went into school already knowing a lot of things that he would have known in English, but presenting French was a new challenge for him, and he's taking really well to it. Our second born, he just has lumped along into it because the oldest one went there, and he's doing really well too. So we hope that they both continue down that path and do well with it, because it just gives them more options.
I mean, you obviously can't speak for other children, but I'm assuming you'll have other family members with children, and your own experience of school wasn't in French immersion. What's the difference? What are some of the unique struggles that are there for your kids?
So the unique struggle with Maverick learning French immersion, I don't know if it's unique, but it's extra. It's like on top of that which normal kids would do. He thinks I know nothing. So because I don't speak French, he thinks that I can't help him. So every once in a while we have some moments where like I actually can help him because Google. and you know, I know enough about especially the primary French that I can help him, but he doesn't give me a whole lot of credit at all. So I find myself calling my mom saying, please tell him I know what I'm doing. And I don't think that's like unique, but it's unique in the sense because it's actually, I don't really know, but
I love the sense that in encouraging the intelligence of your child, which is so clearly there, it's your own pride that's been hurt by that.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while he goes, how did you know that? I'm like, I know a lot of things. So, you know, in those moments he can understand that I have scope beyond his, so.
And tell us a little bit about your parents who are now coming along to Wyoming Baptist Church. There's a whole little family clan. For having no connections, you have a whole little family clan coming.
Yeah, my parents, like I said, they're from Windsor area. They moved here to Sarnia-Lambton for work, as far as I know, before they ever had me. And then once they had kids, they just laid down roots here with their jobs and everything like that. My parents homeschooled us, so that's something different. Also a unique difference between my education versus my kids. So my mom spent the majority of her time while we were young. That's what she did. She homeschooled us, and my dad worked. He worked for CN Rail as a train engineer, and he likes all things techie. So we were always involved in technological stuff, and Mom always made sure that we were not only learning but doing a lot of like social interactions and things within the communities.
Of course.
We went to a church that's in Wallaceburg, which is further away from here. For like, they live or went there for like 30 years, and that's where I grew up. In the church, is in the church that they were involved in. We
can maybe hear a little bit about that in part 2. I'm intrigued though in you saying that you were homeschooled, and there's a number of folk even at Wyoming who would have had a similar experience. Was that option ever discussed between you and Tim?
Oh, homeschooling our children?
Yeah.
It was not really an option discussed. I've always said if my kids were struggling beyond like what you can help them and have them still go to school, I would consider it. But it's never been something that we thought that we were going to do for our kids. It requires a lot of patience.
Yeah, I can imagine. And so going into your work as a hairdresser, was this something that you always envisaged yourself doing? Was it just something that you fell into?
So I guess probably from a pretty young age, I was prayerfully considering what I should be doing with my life. And I mean, at one point in time, I wanted to be an accountant. One time I wanted to be a massage therapist or an esthetician. And yeah, I don't know. I fell into hair somewhere along the line. I don't know, maybe influences in my life. My mom was an esthetician, so she did hair, like makeup. I didn't want to necessarily go that route, but somewhere along the line, I just kind of felt like I wanted to fall into hair. It was always interesting to me, and I felt like in beauty, more than just the outside appearance, there's like an internal portion of it too, and that like when you know who you are a more beautiful person. So like there's an inside out factor there. So it's always been more than just the outside for me.
That's fascinating. So you see it as a part of the holistic care of human beings. Yeah,
and like discovering more about yourself and then being able to represent that on the outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would that have, I mean, I imagine in the way that you're talking about it, then your faith is going to play somewhat of an important part. There may be people that wonder just what the crossover between faith and hairdressing would be, certainly in the context of here. Can you talk a little bit into that?
Yeah, I mean, when you're a hairdresser, people entrust not only their looks with you, but they entrust a lot of like the secret parts of their lives with you, right?
Yeah.
Their hurts, their celebrations, all of the things, right? So there's a lot of times where you have opportunity to be able to hear people's struggles and speak into them, whether that's like just a piece of wisdom or understanding, or whether that's even prayer. Like I've offered that to people before.
Wow.
And I think it's part of why I was drawn to that, because it's not only something that I can do to monetarily contribute to my family, but I can like contribute in a different sense into other people as well through ministry.
It's an interesting dynamic because there'll probably be a lot of people here who will be, at least to some extent, aware of the restrictions that are placed on them in speaking faith into, especially into a client-provider relationship like your own.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a whole thing of like things you don't talk about. There's religion, politics, and money or something. Like there's taboo things. And you have to read the room. You have to pay attention to, I mean, like you don't just blah your faith all over somebody because that's not really... But when people are being vulnerable, oftentimes I just like listen, and then I'm like, you know, my faith has helped me through a lot of things. If you'd like, I'll pray for you on that. And most people, like I've never had somebody like bristle and whatever. And if they didn't want it, then I'm not going to force it on anybody. But like most people are just actually taken back at the fact that you would say that. And I think that we need to take every opportunity that we can to share that. I mean, that's kind of what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, we might dance a little bit on that in part 2, but we're coming up to the end of part 1, and as I've been doing with all of the guests, I've been asking them to bring along some pieces of music. Yours has been positively difficult to try and get round because we discovered there was a whole lot of stuff that I couldn't get off iTunes to be able to play. But we did manage to get It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas by Michael Bublé, and also the Home Alone theme along with Somewhere in My Memory. You sounded like, at least for the second one, that was a particularly, kind of big piece for you at Christmas, or something that you really enjoy. You want to speak a little bit into that?
Yeah, so Somewhere in My Memory, like from Home Alone, the movie Home Alone is always something that I equate with Christmas. Like Christmas time, I don't have a Disney subscription, but I do for the month of December because I want to watch Home Alone and I don't own it on DVD. So, like I just equate Home Alone with Christmas. I've never been left home alone, but I just...
So we don't have to call the forces on your parents.
No, but I just... There's something about that movie that just means it's Christmas to me. Okay. And the whole soundtrack from it, but Somewhere in My Memory is like a soft spot, I guess.
Well, we'll get to the John Williams film score directly, but before that, It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas by Canada's own Michael Bublé.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. Take a look at the 5 and 10. It's glistening once again with candy canes and silver lanes that glow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. A pair of hop-along boots and a pistol that shoots is the wish of Barney and Ben. Dolls that'll talk and will go for a walk is the hope of Janice and Jen. And Mom and Dad can hardly wait for school to start again. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go. There's a tree in the Grand Hotel, one in the park as well. It's the sturdy kind that doesn't mind the snow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Soon the bells will start, and the thing that'll make them ring is the carol that you sing right within your heart. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store, but the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be on your own front door. Sure, it's Christmas once more.
And you're hearing, fading off into the distance there, the Home Alone theme, along with Somewhere in My Memory, a Christmas standard for Christmas movie lovers everywhere, from the film Home Alone, scored by John Williams. I'm here with Alysha, who is our third guest in this season's Rev Ron's Yule log, and we are moving into the portion of our discussion where we talk about faith. And the first question that I ask is always the same. It is, how did you find Jesus, or indeed, how did Jesus find you?
So it's a funny question, too, for me, because I don't know that it was ever a finding. It was always a being. I grew up with parents that had strong faith, and in order for me to be here, my mom would tell you that I'm here because of faith and faith alone. She was told she wouldn't be able to have children. So through faith and continued effort and whatnot, they held fast to what they knew to be true, and I was born. And I was completely surrounded by faith from a very young age. So I grew up knowing nothing different, but I definitely reached a pivotal moment in my life where I thought, like, is this even something that I want to be, like, what I'm part of, I guess. And I wasn't that old. I was an early teenager probably, and it's probably all early teenagers just go through something one way or the other. Yep. But mine was definitely a balance between faith and just, like, the governing role that my parents even played in my life. And I remember my mom looking at me and be like, you need to choose what you're going to do. I can't make you do anything, and if you want to start to make choices for yourself, like, you can do that. Was there
and I'm thinking about the context of being raised with the knowledge that you're a miracle, but conversely not really understanding what that miracle was because you are you. So the miracle will have been far more real to your parents. Was there anything in you being raised where you found that dynamic strange?
I don't think, like, the reality of that whole situation really set in until just, like, a couple of years ago. Oh, wow. For me, really. Like, I've always heard the story, and I've like, you know, yeah, okay, you're a miracle. But now that I'm older and I know, like, the struggles that people go through, and to be told that you're not going to have children and not to continue trying, like, stop because it's, like, not medically good for you. But yet, for there to be perseverance through that, and I'm literally only here because of that, the understanding, and there's no way a child would know anything about that, right?
Yeah. I think, and to me as well, I suppose in how we form our world when we're going from children to teenage years and things, I guess sometimes I think, or I wonder whether those sorts of hanging things above us impact in ways that we don't know. I mean, would you say that dynamic played any role or any part, I mean, it must have, in how you heard from Jesus, or at least how you decided to follow him?
I think, like, how I decided to follow him just came from the fact that, like I say, I was immersed in being around all things church and Christ, and my parents prayed a lot, prayed in the home, outside of the home, and I learned to pray from a very young age, be attentive to the Holy Spirit. Mom was always telling us to, like, wisdom is your sister, listen to wisdom, right? Like pointing us beyond, like, what was external to deeply consider internally. Like, she pushed us to learn to follow God's voice. So I think that's where that relationship came from. Not so much the understanding of being, quote, a miracle or not. Like I said, it only came from the last year or two in my life where I was struggling with some stuff, like, again, not faith-wise, but just, like, family-wise, whatever. And there were a couple of songs that I was listening to, and one talked about, like, being, like, you're a miracle. Like, we are... we have testimonies that we give, and I realized that I was somebody's testimony. Yeah. Right? And I just kind of understood it in a different way more recently. But my relationship with God has just always been. There's been times where I have neared and farred, I guess.
Of course. What would be then, and this is me thinking about how you were raised, and understanding that my own story in some ways is actually very similar to yours. one of the things that I personally struggled with, or at least had to work for, in the faith context, was differentiating between the family faith and my own individual faith. What parts of how you engage with Jesus would you say are beautifully and uniquely yours?
Beautifully and uniquely mine. I'm just probably different ways that I articulate scripture or understand certain scripture. I think foundationally my faith is very similar to still how I was brought up. I mean, it's evolved over the years, but even now, Mom and Dad and I, we have a lot of conversations, and there's things that differ that we understand or don't understand with each other, or again, we just articulate differently. So I don't know that there's any fundamental difference.
Yeah, I mean, it might not be. I suppose I'm trying to scratch into what Jesus needed to do for you, particularly for you to individually accept him.
I don't know that there was any standout thing. Again, my accepting of Jesus or what, I don't think that wavered as much as, like I said, when I was a teenager, I remember a very specific time where I was obstinate and I didn't want to listen to my parents anymore, and Mom just had this conversation with me where she's like, you can either listen to me and do what I tell you and there will be essentially protection in that, or you can make your own decisions but there won't be protection in that. And somewhere along the line, like, I equated that with like the understanding of that's God in our life too. Like, we can fully accept him and there's protection in that, or we can totally like refute him, but like we are then left to our own consequences of that. And in the small amount of time that I chose to do things my own way with my parents, I just didn't want to experience what that would be like with God, because I knew it would be a different level. So like, again, it's like a weird deep understanding, but I don't know. The thing that I most struggled with, like in context of growing up Christian, if you want to, is people will relate to things like previous to being saved or previous to the relationship with God. Yeah. And that's something that
just wasn't really there. It didn't really exist.
Along the same lines as like, what called you to Jesus? Well, I was called from my mother's womb from Jesus, like essentially. Like, so I don't know. There's nothing before Christ, but then also like the slight shying away from the protection in my parents' wisdom and seeing consequences to that. I never wanted to experience what that would feel like paralleled with God, right?
Do you think that made it easier for you to insert your faith life into things like hairdressing?
Yeah. I think because I very much so ascribe to the fact that everything that we do is supposed to be as unto Christ, right? Like, essentially, whether that job is pastoral or that job is a hairdresser or that job is working on the railway like my dad, like whatever we do, we do that, but we do it as unto Christ, which means in every moment that there's space for him, we allow it in, right?
Yeah. Well, you've spoken, and I can only imagine the impact of what it would have been like growing up in the family. Were there any other big influences for you in the life of faith that played out in your life?
So the church that we attended in Wallaceburg is like more of a campground, I would say, than it is a church. It has a big building on it, but there are people there, Bram and Alice, that run the campground, and Pastor Bram, he mentored me a lot. He was the pastor at our church, but because it was a campground, they also had students that would go and work, and I would like live and work there during the summer. He taught me so many different various things, like how to do electrical, how to cut the grass in a straight line. Still not great at that, but he also would take time and have like deeper conversations, like theological conversations, and he actually pushed me a couple times to like just take my Bible and study different words like throughout the Bible. So I think like they definitely played a huge part in my growing up Christian.
And what facilitated the change from, I mean, because Wallaceburg is a while away, but it's not unmanageable to get to. What facilitated the transition between there and coming to Wyoming? How did you walk through the door?
So, I mean, like, there's things that have happened through the years. My parents started out with one church and then it changed into a different church, and I attended different youth groups, and along the way, I was involved in some church politics that I was like, take it or leave it. And then when I did go off on my own and my husband, like, we got married, we had attended a church here or there, and it just didn't fit right, didn't feel right, and I unfortunately stepped away from being a part of a church community for a long time, just more naturally, right? Because like we lived in Petrolia, I wasn't going to Wallaceburg all the time, I didn't feel like I fit somewhere around here, and I stayed away for a long time just because I kind of didn't want to deal with political church.
Yeah.
And I felt in my heart for a long time to come to Wyoming Baptist Church, and I just didn't. I don't know why. But then I reached a time in my life where I definitely was needing community, and I was encouraged by a few people in my life to just step out and go, and I did.
What was it particular? I mean, there are so many churches to pick from in the area. What was it about Wyoming that... Was there anything specific, or was it completely unique word from God that said, you should look at this church?
Yeah, completely unique word from God, honestly, because they're... I remember driving by this church as it was being built when I was younger, like going into town and stuff like that, but I had never attended here one service before that. So, I feel like I probably could have come sooner, but it is what it is, right?
And what was your experience coming in the door then? It must have been quite nerve-wracking for you.
It wasn't I think I was hopeful, right? Like hopeful to find somewhere that it was going to be okay to be, because I needed it at that time for sure. And Wyoming was overwhelmingly welcoming in a time when I needed definite reassurance on a lot of different things. So yeah.
Well, I'm not someone who chastises or criticizes people for taking time away from church. In between ministries, I've had time away from church, understanding that sometimes you need, kind of the space for yourself. What peculiarly to you changed that you felt community was important again?
I was having a hard time working through some stuff, and like you just need to surround yourself with people who can help you stand and stay through hard things, right? Having a family and having kids, it presents a lot of opportunity for you to grow in yourself, but then also like to just figure out how to deal with the other people involved in your life, right?
Yeah.
My kids, like having to try to figure out what is right. This is a world that screams that everything you're doing is wrong, right? When I walked in the doors here, I had multiple ladies coming up to me and telling me, like, they didn't even know me. Oh, your kids are so nice. I'm like, you don't even know them. But no, your kids are so nice. And it was something that I definitely needed to hear, because you don't know sometimes, right? You see them in the good, the bad, and the ugly.
yeah. You heard here that they were nice, as opposed to Maverick thinking that you can't do anything.
Right. Yes. Exactly. I needed to know that somebody thought I knew something. No. But it's just a sense of community. And for me, praise and worship has always been a huge part where in my life where I feel like I can speak to God or God speaks to me, and it's different to have praise and worship on your own. Like, you absolutely can, but when you participate in communal worship, I feel like maybe you just open up more space to hear from God, and like I needed to find that space again.
Sure. A final question in this segment, and it's one of my favorite questions to ask. What's one thing particularly you love about Jesus?
His acceptance, I guess, of everything. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Is that a particular Jesus meets me where I am at type of feeling for you that you take into life?
Yeah, it meets me where I'm at, and he accepts my humanity. The fact that, like, I can't possibly get it right in every situation, but he still sees me as right as possible.
You think that type of care is something that would give at least partial reason for the type of care that you present at the hairdresser chair? I
don't know, maybe. I haven't considered that, maybe. Possibly.
Excellent. Well, that's always a good point to stop at when the guy who's questioning you stumps you with a question. We're going to move into another 2 pieces of music. I can't believe we're getting this again, but we are getting this again, as was last year. Feliz Navidad, and this arrangement by the VeggieTales, and also Joy to the World by Ian King. You want to speak about anything to do with those 2?
So, Feliz Navidad, my children have been singing this and performing it for me lately, so it is something that I'm hearing a lot. And Joy to the World is probably we just sang it at church on Sunday, and when I was reading the words to it, they were really meaningful, right? Like, they're beyond that of a Christmas carol. So I think that's why it means something to me.
Yeah. Well, first up, Feliz Navidad, sung by A Pickle.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Prospero año y felicidad. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Tuba solo! Chicken dance!
Hey, what are you doing? Stop that chicken dance.
Sorry. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
That was Joy to the World by Ian King. I'm here with our third guest in Reverend Yule Log, Alysha, and we've spoken a bit about life, we've spoken a bit about faith. It's time now to talk about Christmas, and I suppose the big question, what are some of the big traditions you have or have had at Christmas time?
So I love to bake, so I usually find myself baking way too much.
And is this baking, which, like some of your cooking, is of Instagram level? Is
Yes.
that the level of baking that we're talking about
Yes,
here?
I love to bake all different kinds of cookies, and the more complicated, the better. But that takes a lot of time and energy. So as the years go on and my kids become more and more active, the amount of baking that I do decreases a little bit. But we always bake.
Until you reach grandmother stage, in which case
Ramp right back up
everything,
again.
yeah, you're going to have to
Yeah.
turn up the noise.
I used to make platters, like actual big platters, and have to give that to people because I just love to bake so much, and you cannot possibly eat it all. So give it away. Now the plates are small, but people still appreciate it, I hope.
I'm sure they do. Home baking is always welcome in the
Yeah.
Rye household, at least.
Yeah.
What about some things you did when you were a kid? Like things, traditions, things that you did around Christmas?
Yeah, so I mean, I remember my mom baking, and we always bake for giving to other people, and then also we did all of our Christmas decorating, Christmas tree decorating.
So was there a set day for that? Like, I know Steph, she'll crack it, like, it's got to be done on this day. And it's going to take this day, and Steph will always stick on Nightmare Before Christmas in the back. That's the thing that has to go on in the background. Anything similar?
So funny, when I was younger, I don't know when it stopped being this early, but my mom would set up the Christmas tree like early November. I feel like, I don't remember. She did talk about wanting to do it in October. So she would set it up so early, which is probably why I like Christmas. I like it early. I don't know. There was no set day though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she, at some point in time, I don't know how old I would have been, she entrusted me with decorating the Christmas tree.
Oh my goodness.
And like now that I'm an adult that's very particular, I realize just how much of a sacrifice that probably was, because I don't know. I always liked decorating and liked to be particular about things, but there's, 9 and 10-year-olds particular versus an adult's particular are very different. And
I mean, you're not wrong.
yeah. When my kids help me decorate the tree, I have to stand back and be like, you used to love this, you need to let them do it.
Yeah, let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go.
But uniquely enough, though, when we would decorate the Christmas tree, there was many times when we would listen to a very specific Christmas CD.
Okay, I feel there's some explanation that's needed here. We tried to find a bunch of music from whatever this CD was, and the only place that we could find it was on YouTube under some Russian guy's account that was there, and I was like, nah, this might not be something that we can use.
It was like a 90s, very 90s Christmas music CD, and we would just put it on and blast it, and Yo-Ho Christmas and You Can't Spell Christmas Without Christ were the ones that were most memorable for me.
I love it.
But yeah, I don't know why, but that's just it. That and getting everything out of the old popcorn tins. Do you remember you used to get popcorn in a tin?
No, I have no recollection
Okay.
of popcorn in a tin.
So maybe it's a Canadian thing, but
Could be.
sometimes you used to get these big aluminum tins that would come with 3 different kinds of popcorn in them for Christmas gift. And for some reason, that was the acceptable new tin to store Christmas ornaments in.
Oh, okay, so ours were cookie tins or
Yeah.
shortbread
These are
tins.
big though. They're like,
Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know, those are, decorating and baking. And then, we used to have snow when I was a kid at Christmas time too, so I'd be
Hey, we've
outside.
got snow now, or at least today when we're recording it, there's
This
some
is a
snow
skiff
outside.
of snow. It's not, you can't play it. Well, you can play in it, but not like we used to.
And what did you used to play? Was it snowball fights, or was it making snowmen, or what was it?
Snowmen, snow forts, snow tunnels, whatever we could do. We just played outside until our hands hurt.
Okay,
So,
that
yeah.
seems fair. And what about for the actual day itself? How does Christmas Day run for you guys?
Christmas Day, for the last few years, ever since I've had kids, we've had Christmas Day at my house just for ease. I think this year we're going to actually go to my mom's. She wants to host this year. So I think it'll be Christmas Day this year. It always changes. My dad always worked on the railroad, which is a 365 day a year job. So it didn't mean that Christmas was on Christmas. And my husband now works shift work. We're blessed that he's home over Christmas this year.
Oh, that's good then.
But his shift sometimes takes him away too. So yeah, this year's Christmas, next year we don't know.
Okay. And it's possibly going to be at your mum's. Food of choice.
Well, I like turkey. So my mom usually makes turkey because I like it. But Tim likes ham. So then we usually make ham and then we have all the things. We have everything.
All the things.
There is some discussion over my husband acquiring a smoker this year and smoking the ham. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll find out.
Is that to be one of his early Christmas presents?
Yeah, I guess so.
You heard it here first. Tim's wife has given the game away. He's getting a smoker for Christmas.
Well, he's doing it himself. He's buying. We are not buying Christmas gifts this year. Apparently, I don't know. To be determined.
We're not buying each other Christmas presents because I really want to buy me a smoker.
Yeah.
Is that what he's saying? Tim, you horrible person. No.
No. It's been in the works for a while. But you know what? I've had things that have been cooked on the smoker, and that could be a gift because Tim now will cook on the smoker and I won't have to.
Hey, and you'll have more time for baking.
Sure. Yeah.
Favorite Christmas movie? Home Alone. Yes.
Absolutely. Home Alone 1 and 2.
Okay. Do they both get watched on the same day, or do they get watched repeatedly at weird frequencies?
Yes.
Okay.
Both. No, repeated at weird frequencies, but usually while I'm baking, because I do have a TV in the same space as where my kitchen is, so I have it on. I watch other Christmas movies too, but Home Alone 1 and 2.
Hallmark Christmas movies?
No,
do we watch them? No.
I don't. Well, I mean, I will if I've run out of the other ones and I just feel bored, but I'm not like a rom-com. They all end the same way.
I don't know why you struck me as a Hallmark lover. I don't know why though.
No, it's not.
Maybe it's because you're so bohemian in your dress.
Bohemian, yeah.
And that's the way. That's why all these women dress up.
I find them to be just as corny as most men sit there and feign like, do we have to do this again? I feel the same. I will watch them, but not first choice. I will watch Home Alone 3 times before I do.
Okay, that's fair enough. And if you were to create your perfect Christmas getaway, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. I've been away at Christmas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So it's weird to go away at Christmas, I find, because everything about Christmas to me is home. So to be away at Christmas doesn't seem perfect.
When were you away at Christmas?
Well, so my husband's family live in Florida. So sometimes we would travel and go to Florida, which is a whole different thing. Like, it's warm-ish. It's not warm enough. But it's warmer than here, but like the palm trees have lights and that's just not the same. So
it's just wrong. Is that what you're telling me?
It's not wrong. It's somebody else's right. It's just not my right. I don't know. It just doesn't feel so. Christmas and home are synonymous to me, I guess.
Okay.
Being away at Christmas, I've done it, but doesn't feel like Christmas.
Okay. Well, Alysha, it's been an absolute joy to have you in with us and having a chat, and I hope it wasn't too arduous or torturous for you.
Only a little.
Only a little. Well, that's good. It'll cost me the baking that you were going to drop off at my house. Is that what it's going to cost me?
Well, we'll see how that goes. The kids help now, so...
No, I don't know if I want
Much
it anymore.
like the Christmas tree, I have to just let things go sometimes, so eat at your own risk. Have that.
Excellent. Well, thank you again, Alysha, and we're going to have one more guest before we close up this season for Christmas. But before we end today, it is only appropriate that as Alysha has been talking about the importance of home at Christmas, our final piece of music should relate to that, and so I leave you this week with Driving Home for Christmas by Chris Rea. We'll speak to you next week with another guest. See you later.
I'm driving home for Christmas. Oh, I can't wait to see those faces. I'm driving home for Christmas, yeah. Well, I'm moving down that line, and it's been so long, but I will be there. I sing this song to pass the time away, driving in my car, driving home for Christmas. It's gonna take some time, but I'll thousand memories. I take a look at the driver next to me. He's just the same. Just the same. Top to toe in tailbacks. Oh, I got red lights all around. Driving home for Christmas, yeah. Get my feet on holy ground. So I sing for you, though you can't hear me when I get through. Go and feel you near me. Driving in my car, driving home for Christmas. Driving home for Christmas with 1,000 memories. I take a look at the driver next to me. He's just the same.